A boy was cast into the desert to die. Now he returns not as prey, but as prophecy. Paul Atreides, heir to a slaughtered house, must rise among the Fremen, the desert people of Arrakis. He seeks vengeance against the Harkonnens and the Emperor who betrayed his family. But as he rises, Paul faces a darker fate, to become a messiah worshipped by billions and a tyrant feared across the universe. This is the story of rebellion, prophecy, and the birth of a god-king. The sands of Arrakis stretch endless, golden, and merciless. Among the dunes, Paul Atreides and his mother Jessica wander with the Fremen. For Paul, the desert is both enemy and teacher. He has visions, glimpses of futures where rivers of blood flow in his name. In some, he dies. In others, he becomes emperor. He does not yet know which is true. The Fremen whisper. Some believe he is the Lisan al-Gaib, the voice from the outer world promised by prophecy. Others see only an outsider, unfit to walk their sacred sands. Jessica sees the power of belief. Trained as Bene Gesserit, she understands how myths guide people. Quietly, she begins planting seeds of prophecy, stories that point to her son as the chosen one. To fully join the Fremen, Jessica must take on the role of Reverend Mother. She drinks the water of life, a deadly poison. Her body convulses, her mind expands. Every memory of her ancestors floods her consciousness. For a moment, she hovers between life and death. And then, something unprecedented happens. Her unborn daughter, Alia, awakens inside her womb. Though not yet born, Alia becomes self-aware, absorbing centuries of wisdom. Jessica carries not just a child, but a prophet in waiting. Now, as Reverend Mother, Jessica becomes a pillar of faith among the Fremen. She whispers prophecies into their ears, binding their destiny to Paul. Paul grows close to Chani, a fierce warrior of the Fremen. She sees him not as a messiah, but as a man who bleeds and doubts. With her, Paul finds warmth and love in the cold desert nights. Yet he is torn. His heart longs for Chani, but his visions show her death. He fears that if he accepts his destiny, he will lose her. Meanwhile, the Fremen fight back against the Harkonnens. Paul joins their raids, attacking spice harvesters, sabotaging supply lines, and vanishing into the dunes. His courage earns their respect, and slowly, the outsiders' whispers of prophecy grow louder. Far away, on Gedi Prime, the Harkonnen stronghold, Baron Vladimir Harkonnen seethes with anger. His nephew, Beast Rabban, rules Arrakis with brutality, but his failures multiply. Spice production falters, raids increase, and profits dwindle. The Baron turns to another nephew, Fade Rautha. Unlike Rabban, Fade is cunning, sadistic, and terrifyingly skilled. In the gladiator arenas of Gedi Prime, he slaughters opponents with ease, his pale body painted in war markings, his smile twisted with bloodlust. The Baron sees in Fade not just an heir, but a weapon. He sends him to Arrakis to crush the Fremen rebellion. For Paul to be truly accepted by the Fremen, he must undergo the sacred trial, riding a sandworm. On the open dunes, Paul waits with maker hooks in hand. The ground trembles. From the depths, a worm erupts, its colossal jaws lined with teeth like blades. As it roars, Paul races alongside it, plunging his hooks into its scales. With strength and precision, he climbs, forcing the creature to turn. The desert shakes as the worm rises beneath him. The Fremen watch in awe as Paul stands upon its back, guiding it like a mount. For the first time, they cheer his name. Paul has become one of them. But Paul seeks more than acceptance. He seeks clarity. He drinks the water of life, The poison no man has survived. His body collapses, convulsing in the dust. Chani weeps, believing she has lost him. Inside, Paul's consciousness explodes into visions. He sees countless futures, rivers of blood, billions chanting his name in holy war. He sees the emperor's betrayal, the fall of houses, and a throne he both dreads and desires. At last, Paul awakens. His eyes blaze with new power. He is no longer simply Paul. He is the Kwisatz Haderach, the one who can see across all of time. With Paul as their leader, the Fremen intensify their rebellion. They strike spice harvesters in the dead of night, riding sandworms into battle. Explosions ripple across the desert. Harkonnen soldiers are buried alive, their screams lost in the sands. Spice production collapses. The emperor grows alarmed. His throne itself feels threatened. He decides to intervene directly. Emperor Shaddam IV arrives on Arrakis with his elite Sardaukar. His daughter, Princess Irulan, watches silently, recording history as it unfolds. Paul gathers the Fremen. Thousands answer his call, their faith now unshakable. The desert itself becomes their weapon. The emperor underestimates them. It will cost him everything. The desert explodes in war. Fremen charge from the dunes, mounted on colossal sandworms, their cries echoing across the battlefield. Sardaukar and Harkonnens clash in fire and steel. Paul leads from the front, his blade flashing as he cuts down enemies. Explosions engulf harvesters, turning them into firestorms. Entire legions are swallowed by the shifting sands. At the height of battle, Paul confronts the emperor. But first, he must face Feyd-Rautha. Before the emperor's court, Paul and Feyd-Rautha face one another in ritual combat. Feyd grins, his twin blades glistening with poison. He circles Paul like a predator. The crowd holds its breath. The duel is brutal. Feyd strikes fast, feinting and slashing. Paul parries, barely keeping pace. Poison cuts graze his skin. Feyd taunts him, reminding him of his family's death. But Paul channels every lesson, every vision, every ounce of strength. With a final strike, he disarms Feyd and drives his blade through him. Feyd collapses, lifeless. The duel is over. Paul turns to Shaddam IV. The emperor's face is pale with fear. Paul demands surrender. He declares his intention to marry Princess Irulan, securing his claim to the throne. To resist him would mean destruction. The emperor kneels. His reign is over. Among the Fremen, Paul is hailed not just as a leader, but as Lisan al-Gaib. Across the galaxy, word spreads, a new emperor has risen. Paul Atreides has won. He has avenged his house, claimed Arrakis, and taken the throne of the galaxy. But victory carries a shadow. His visions of holy war have not faded. They have begun. Armies will march in his name, billions will die, and the universe will burn with the fire of prophecy. As Chani watches him, her heart breaks. She does not see a savior. She sees a tyrant in the making. The boy is gone. The Messiah has risen, and the tyrant's path has begun. Dune Part 2 is not the story of triumph, but of transformation. Paul sought vengeance for his father. He found power beyond imagination. But in claiming it, he has unleashed something greater and far darker than himself. Would you take the throne knowing it would ignite a war across the stars? Or would you refuse destiny, even if it meant losing everything? For Paul Atreides, there was no escape. The desert chose him. The prophecy bound him. And now, the universe must pay the price.